welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to get into quantum leadership. Basically, what it means to lead when everything seems to be changing, like all the time.
Right. And the sources we looked at, they paint this picture of our times being at the edge of chaos.
The edge of chaos. What exactly does that mean?
Well, think of it as the state of maximum instability, which sounds bad, maybe, but it's also where the biggest opportunities are.
Ah, okay. So high risk, high reward territory.
Exactly. The old ways of doing things, the old rules, they just don't really apply anymore. And that's the huge challenge for leaders. How do you navigate that kind of constant uncertainty?
Yeah, makes sense. And that leads into this quantum management theory, right?
It does. The core idea there is that you need to maximize creativity, adaptability, and it actually draws parallels with quantum physics.
How so? Physics.
Well, sort of. In quantum physics, observing something can disrupt its potential. The theory suggests that in companies, too much interference from the top, bureaucracy...
Messes things up. Kills the potential.
Pretty much. It hinders innovation, responsiveness, all the things you really need when things are chaotic.
So this sounds like that quantum company idea your sources mentioned. Less top-down control.
Precisely. Yeah, the model involves much more hands-off leadership at the very top. You actually get rid of a lot of middle management.
Really? Okay.
And instead, you empower these self-organizing teams, the ones actually doing the work, to make the key decisions right there on the front lines.
So the CEO's role changes completely. They become a leader of leaders? Is that the phrase?
That's the one. And yeah, it demands a whole different philosophy, a different way of thinking about leading people.
Okay, let's unpack that. What is the vision, the philosophy of this quantum leader? What are they actually aiming for?
The sources talk about a really revolutionary vision, not just tweaking things, but thinking way beyond the existing boundaries, almost like inventing new paradigms.
Maybe give an example?
Sure. Think Zhang Ruman at Hair, focusing on employee potential and totally new customer relationships. Or, Steve Jobs.
Right, not just making a better phone, but changing how we even think about technology in life.
Exactly. Or Elon Musk, pushing for things that seem almost impossible. They lead from a place of deep conviction, from their being, serving what could be.
Like servant leaders,
Yeah.
but serving possibility itself.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It ties into that unicorn analogy the sources use.
Yes, the startups that seem impossible until they suddenly exist.
Right. And they describe companies like Hair or Tesla as almost companies of unicorns. It's about making the impossible real through sheer vision and belief.
So it's about tapping into potential.
Yes, serving potentiality is the phrase used, like tapping into this infinite sea of possibility, being a co-creator. The motivation often feels, almost spiritual, a deep inner drive, like this just has to exist.
That feels very different from just, say, maximizing profit. It's deeper.
It is, and it connects to that Sun Tzu quote about giving people a higher shared purpose.
Why is that so central?
Because fundamentally, I think we all crave meaning, right? We want to be part of something bigger than ourselves. Visionary leaders tap into that. They inspire that sense of purpose.
Okay, so that's the vision. What about the underlying principles? What guides their actions?
There are a few core ones. First, interconnectedness, the idea that everything's connected. The company is part of the universe, not separate.
So sustainability flows from that.
Yeah.
Aligning with natural principles.
Exactly. Then there's the idea of a participative universe. We co-create reality. So leaders have a responsibility to build good companies, ones that contribute positively.
For everyone involved. Stakeholders, environment.
Yes. Giving up direct power, maybe, but keeping responsibility for the mission, the vision, the culture, then valuing every single person, seeing them as unique, equal partners.
Dignity and respect for all.
Absolutely. And believing in infinite potential both in people and in the market. Always looking for ways to help people grow and innovate.
And appreciating living systems. What does that mean practically?
It means valuing complexity, creativity, ensuring a high quality of life for employees, for customers, trying to genuinely add value and enrich life, not just extract value.
Okay, and the last one was borderless relationships.
Right. Innovation happens through connections, ecosystems. So quantum leaders build these ecosystems, both internally collaborative, win-win, and externally with partners. That's the zero distance idea from Hair.
It sounds like the leader's own character becomes incredibly important if they're not relying on hierarchy and control.
It's crucial. If you give up formal power, you have to lead through influence, inspiration, trust. Your character being honest, trustworthy, someone people genuinely look up to, that's everything.
So leadership development becomes personal development. character building.
Absolutely. It's not just about skills, it's about who you are.
And the key aspects there are self-awareness,
Definitely. Understanding yourself, your feelings, motivations, that cultivates emotional intelligence.
vulnerability, and authenticity.
Yes. Being humble enough to say, I messed up or I need help, that builds trust. Counters that fear and blame culture you see sometimes.
And breadth and depth, constantly learning.
Yeah, lifelong learning, being curious about everything, arts, sciences, recognizing good ideas can come from anywhere. It's about continuous personal growth.
This feels like a very holistic view of leadership, almost a spiritual practice, as one source put it.
It can be seen that way. A commitment to becoming a better person, to better serve that higher purpose and potential.
And interestingly, this all ties directly into crisis leadership, too.
It really does. General McChrystal's point was that crisis leadership isn't some temporary mode anymore. It's just leadership in the 21st century. It's constant.
And the qualities needed are the same ones we've been discussing.
Exactly. Being visible, honest communication, even when it's tough, adapting quickly, being calm.
Delegating more than feels comfortable, empowering those edges.
Yes, empowering quick action, plus compassion, using technology to stay connected, listening, inspiring. It's all part of it. The core idea is embedding these, well, almost cosmic principles into how you operate day to day.
So, wrapping up, the key takeaway seems to be that quantum leadership offers a way to navigate today's chaotic world. It's about leading with vision, fostering connection, empowering people, and really prioritizing character.
That sums it up well. It's a model built for adaptability and purpose.
And that final thought from Zhang Ruman is quite provocative. The greatest thing a young person can do is found a company.
Right. It makes you think, how could these quantum principles apply not just to huge corporations, but to anything new you want to create, any meaningful project? What unicorn, big or small, might you be inspired to conjure into existence?
Definitely some powerful ideas to chew on. Thanks for this deep dive.